Hello. In my last video, I showcased this function here, which had a funny GCC behavior with undefined behavior that caused it to iterate the entire RAM that is now fixed. And a lot of people were telling me what I should be doing. They were saying, you should be iterating by pointer, that's gonna generate less instruction. You should be putting these two in a struct or into a hash map, things like that. The reason I have not optimized this function yet is because this function only runs on area load. It costs less than 10 microseconds. It is completely irrelevant, but we will get down to 0% Nintendo code, so this will be optimized. And the thing that no one could have possibly known, but the reason I didn't do any of these things, and I won't be doing any of these things, is I have a much better way of solving this function here. And that is this. And you couldn't possibly have known that. But the best way to solve a problem is obviously to not have the problem. So why do we not need to have this problem? Well, look at what this function even does. It has two use cases. The first is right here. On area warp, it iterates every object in the game, checks if it's active, maybe like 150 are going to be active or 200. Then it checks if it's a warp type. So right now we have already iterated 150 or so by 20 elements, 3000 elements. And if it is, then we set the warp node. Okay, this is dumb as hell. Why would we do it this way? The correct way to do it would be to have like a flag or something on a warp when it spawns, or maybe even just a function call on a warp that links up the warp node, gets us down from 3000 iterations to as many as there's warp nodes, which usually there's going to be like 10. That's a 30 times improvement. And I think that is what we should be doing. And the other use case for this is it gets the spawn type. So for example, if the spawn type is a door, we spawn slightly behind the door. Or right here it sets Mario's initial action state, which might be something like flying or swimming or being shot out of a cannon. Also not necessary at all. We can just, store somewhere the warp type we want on the warp from the warp behavior. Obviously, this is also going to get our array iteration down from 20 to 0. This is going to let us delete the old function and the old tables. This is going to make it easier to add new warps. And I think that is a vastly superior solution to this problem than any optimization we could be doing in here. So that is the plan. I do want to get down to 0% Nintendo code. Anyway, that's it. Bye bye.